Is it currently the Christmas holidays and you're a little bit anxious and stressed, as well as feeling a little bit awkward and a little bit sad? Well, this video is for those who are wondering about the hidden challenges of being trans over the holidays. Play the transgender topic intro. Rise and shine real lights, welcome back to yet another video. Today we are joined with a very special guest by the name of Ava Rose. And if you are a long-time viewer, I'm sure you know who Ava is, but if you're not, well, they are one of the best content creators here on YouTube in the trans community. No joke, no lie. Honestly, they are a true inspiration. So for the three of you that don't know who she is, well, I left her YouTube channel in the description down below. I did a video with her on her channel, so y'all should probably check that out. I'll link that down as well. Yeah. So without further ado, over to you, Ava.
There are a lot of things that you might be worried about surrounding the holiday season, and some things that you're not exactly sure how to prepare for, even things that you can't prepare for altogether, because a lot of the time, if you're having like anxiety or you're stressed about certain things, it's not always necessarily something you can control. So the first thing is dealing with family, and this can be an especially big deal if this is early in your transition, so you're just coming out to people, or maybe you're not even out to everyone yet, and you might be worried about some situations that might arise from that, or if certain family members might have a problem with you transitioning. And I think the most important thing to keep in mind with that is that, yeah, some things might happen and things might not go exactly how you want them to. If it's family that's actually important to you, then something can be worked out. And no one will be perfect, and that's kind of just something that you can try to accept beforehand and try to emotionally prepare for the fact that no one is going to be perfect. But I think a big part of that fear is kind of the fear of losing control, and especially with family and transitioning and stuff. You don't always get to have that control over situations in the same way that you might have control over your friends or people you spend time with outside of family gatherings. But I think the most important thing to remember here is that you can't control how people act, but that's gonna be okay. And the final thing that I'm gonna talk about is just dealing with the fear that things could go wrong. And I think an important thing to keep in mind with worrying about things going wrong is I feel like sometimes we get so wrapped up in the fact that something might go wrong that we forget that something might not go wrong and something might be perfectly fine. And even if it isn't, once we actually take a step back or allow some time for it to calm down, it probably won't be that big of a deal. To me, a big part of helping deal with stress and anxiety is having a plan in place for how to deal with stuff. So I think this will help and give you some strategies to help you if awkward situations do come up, or if things do not actually end up going the way you hoped.
In addition to all of that stuff about anxiety and sadness, I definitely think it's important to talk about the sadness and the awkwardness. I myself am a pretty awkward person, not gonna lie. I'm the most awkward person I know. Yeah. I think one of the main things that definitely helps with being awkward and sad is being prepared. Now, I understand that some of you peeps may not necessarily be out to everyone, and you may not even be out to your parents or grandparents or aunties and sisters. Who knows? Now, being dead named and misgendered is not easy for anyone at all. And to be misgendered over Christmas doesn't necessarily mean to be at a table and a parent to go like,
"Dead name, pass the salt and pepper."
It literally could just be in a form of a card by some family member that you don't really remember or know that well. For example, like,
"Merry Christmas, parent 1, parent 2, sibling, dead name."
I mean, I've been out for like a long time, and trust me, that happens to me. I mean, not so much now, but it's definitely happened in the past, yeah. And just like I said a moment ago, I understand that some of y'all might not actually be out. And getting dead named, even though you're out to yourself, that can be pretty depressing. And I think another scenario about being awkward is where a family member has only just been told that you are trans, and their gift that they have got you is really something to be associated with the gender that you may have been born with. For example, if you're a trans girl, you're identifying and expressing as female, but this family member gets you something that is pretty stereotypically assigned to males. And well, it's usual for this to happen after the first and second Christmas of being out, but usually after then it gets a little bit more easier, and most of your family members may be aware that you are now trans and are out and living and expressing as your true identity and true self and everything like that. And to go a little bit off topic from Christmas and holidays, this sort of thing may actually happen at your birthday for the first and second year of being out as your true self. And I think it's also important to talk about the awkward conversations that you may have if you're not out, and the awkward questions if you are out. Don't you just love it when you're at like a Christmas party and you're not out and your best friend next to you's like, you know what, trans people really confuse me. That's the situation to be in. Or you're at like a Christmas meal and your uncle starts trying to make conversation with you about trans stuff and starts talking about your surgeries and just likes to drop a lovely question along the lines of,
Hey, can you pass the pigs and blankets? Also, have you had the surgery yet?
don't you just love that when it happens? I definitely think it is a good rule of thumb to actually keep in mind that those questions are going to be asked and that you should be prepared for when they do ask. It's a lot less about how they're going to be asked and a lot more how many more seconds until they ask those questions.
Yeah.
I think if I was going to end this with anything, is that it's so important that you keep track of your mental health and well-being. It doesn't matter if you're not out yet, or it's your first year or your second year out, as being you and being true to yourself. Mental health and your well-being is crucial. If you are struggling or think that you will be struggling with the holidays this year, do keep in mind that you are not alone. There are so many LGBT young people and grown-ups who are struggling to be who they are inside and express their true identity to their family this year. And if you are in immediate danger, you can always call the emergency services if you're really at that much risk. But thank you ever so much for watching, and remember as always to like, comment, and subscribe. I will see y'all in the next video. And on that note, goodbye. Bye.